Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, Clay Soil. My name is Purny and it's so good to see you. It's been a while. I know, it's been a really long time since I made a video, but I just needed some time to live life, recollect myself. And for a while there, plants were just not making me happy and I needed to take a step back, and in the process some of my plants suffered, some died, some went to plant heaven, some were like really not happy with me, but I'm getting back in the process of taking care of my plants. I mean, I was doing the bare minimum. I was giving them water and that's pretty much it, but like I'm starting to get that I want to play with my plants and take care of them and, do all the things I used to do and all the things that used to bring me joy. And for a while that wasn't. I'm getting back into it. So I really thank everybody that's watching this video. I'm also gearing up to do more videos. I just needed to take some downtime, but I'm back. I have some content for you guys and I think you're gonna like it. So before we get started, I would love it if you could subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and if you hit the bell icon, you'll be notified every time I upload new content. Also, you can follow me at Instagram. My handle is ClaySoilPurny. I am more active there, but feel free to reach out to me there or here if you ever have any questions or comments or love or just anything. I'm here. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Today we're doing a Know Before You Grow episode, and the plant that we're going to be talking about is the Manjula Pothos. And I love this plant. I mean, it is such a low maintenance plant. It only has one demand. And if you don't listen to that one demand, it's gonna like literally tell you like, I told you so. Like, I told you I have this one demand and you didn't listen to me. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But let's talk about the Manjula Pothos. Look at that. She's so beautiful. I just repotted her in this from her original pot. So a Manjula Pothos or Manjula epipremnum is cultivated here in the US and it is patented by the University of Florida. That is all the information that I know about that. It's hard to actually find any information that says more than that on the internet, but if you know, please do comment below. So Manjula Pothos is very easy to grow. It is on the more slower side of growing plants, but that could also just depend on what conditions you have it in. So it could be a mixture of things. Mine wasn't really growing and trailing for a while because it was in the same original nursery pot that was in for 2 years, so it wasn't growing. But now that it's been a couple of weeks since I put it in this pot, and look, it's already starting to trail. One thing I realized is that this plant is inexpensive here, but in some other parts of the world, this is more of an uncommon plant and it can cost I've seen up into the 3 digits for this plant. So it's kind of cool to have something that's like common here and uncommon somewhere else. So let's talk about the appearance of the Manjula Pothos. One easy way to tell that you have a Manjula Pothos is the leaf shape, and it will be a heart leaf shape, right? And then also the edges of the leaves will be wavy. So if you can see, all the leaves are wavy. And then the other thing about Manjula Pothos is none of the leaves are same. So this one has a more solid blocks of variegation, whereas this one has more patches of variegation. So solid patches of variegation and then this one's more like a marbling look, and then there's some that are in between where it will have solid patches with a little bit of speckling in it. So it's just very different. I think my favorite are the super solid ones, like this one. It's a little itty bitty baby one. See? So these are my favorite. This type is my favorite when they get like this. But that's one of the easiest ways to tell that you have a Manjula Pothos is the heart-shaped leaves, the wavy edges, and that every single leaf is different. They're not the same at all. So the foliage tends to be dense, as you can tell, compared to its other cousins. So Manjula Pothos is more of a low-growing, trailing, cascading plant, as opposed to one that climbs up, which I think is really nice. You can kind of probably like keep it more lateral on your shelf or just have it hanging down. Yeah, so that's a little bit on the appearance of Manjula Pothos. Now we're going to move on to lighting. And remember I told you about that one demand that it has, and if you don't listen, it's going to be like, I told you so. So the one demand it has is it's very light sensitive, and it cannot handle direct sunlight. If you put it in direct sunlight, it's gonna burn. It's gonna get like browns, black spots on the leaves, and it's just gonna take away from the beauty of this plant. And I can show you exactly what I'm talking about, because one day I watered it and I left it by the window a little too long, and it burnt my leaves, and you can see it is brown. Here's another leaf that got, oh, can you see this one? Let's see. This one is harder to show, but yeah. See, so those brown spots, it's from the light. So that's one big demand it has, is it is very sensitive to light. It can do bright indirect light, so you can keep it about like 6, I would keep it like at least 6 to 8 feet away from the window, and just make sure it's not getting like direct light. It will burn your leaves. It will happen. Just don't do it. Now on the flip side, if you keep it in too low light of a condition, the variegation will start to lessen and revert. Just be mindful of like how much sun you're giving it, and how close to the window it is, and like make sure the harsh rays of the sun is not like beating down on this plant. Moving right along to the watering cycle for this plant, and you can really treat this like the Fitonias. You know, I literally wait till it starts drooping, and then I'll water it. And then in like a half a day, it bounces back up. So I let it dry out in between waterings, and it's been doing really well. I don't go too long in between watering to like let it dry out. Like once it starts wilting, you know, I'll maybe let it go like 1 day, but then I'll give it a really good soak, and then usually it's pretty good. Now, in the springtime and summertime, you're probably looking at, depending on how well draining your soil is, you're going to be watering it probably once a week. But it could be more, depending on humidity level for you, how much, what the temperature is, how much sun it's getting, where it's placed in your home. Just all that will be a factor into how often you're watering your plants. But for me right now, I'm at about a once a week cycle. And then about when the fall and winter comes, and I really don't have fall and winter here, just that like in between, it's kind of like an in-between time. But for most people, when fall and winter comes, you want to keep it, you know, probably give it water like once every 2 weeks. Especially during the winter time, they don't need a lot of water. So that's another way you can actually kill your plants during the winter time too, because you think they need all that water, but they don't, because they hold on to it for a lot longer. So don't water your plants often in this winter time. Okay, whew, that was a lot. With watering, you're gonna also need to fertilize your plant. And to fertilize, you can use any, whatever your choice of plant food is, but you know, you want to use one that's great for foliage. So you'll just have to do some research and see which one you like the best. But I fertilize currently during the growing season every 2 weeks. It gives great results. You can even do it once a month. That's probably the least you should do, once a month, especially during the growing season, so they can like give you healthy bushy leaves, and just, you know, it just helps them, you know, with all the heat and sun and everything. But then during the fall and winter time, no fertilizer at all whatsoever. Just don't do it. They're already like dormant, and you kind of confuse them when you give them fertilizer during the dormant season. Now let's talk about soil, and this is so much fun. I have 2 ways that I've been keeping, and it's worked out really well both ways. So I've been showing you that I have it in soil, and it's a very well draining mix. Like, I add a whole bunch of perlite and orchid bark. I get the small size orchid bark, and I just mix a lot of that into the soil. I use a mixture of potting soil and peat moss. And then the other way that I've been keeping my plant is in water, and it's been doing really good. Like, this is just in water with a little bit of water soluble fertilizer. If you're gonna keep it like this, you're gonna have to provide it nutrients all the time. And listen, I'm not like, I don't know too much about the whole hydroponic stuff. I just do the very simple method where I like literally fill this vase up with water, and it's not a big vase, and then I'll like literally take a pinch of the a pinch or a dash of the fertilizer, and I mix it into the water, and it just drinks it up. And it's been doing really well. The one thing I started doing is, I don't know if you can tell, but the stems that the roots are connected to, I don't like submerge the entire like stalk, stem, petiole, whatever you want to call it. Like, I don't submerge the whole thing in water. I'll go up to like maybe where halfway, or like up to here on the vase, and that's enough. And during the growing season, like, this drinks up the water really fast, really fast. So just showing you, they're doing very well. You can have it in water. And I think I'm gonna keep this in water forever. I like it. I like the look of it. One thing I noticed about my plants that stay in water forever, they look way more veinier, but I kind of like that. It doesn't seem to harm the plant, but yeah. And then, oh, remember how I was talking about if you don't give it enough light, it'll revert? So for a while, I was keeping this one a little too far away from like the sun. So then I was like, oh no, and I moved it, and now the 2 new growths have more variegation compared to this one. This one just had like a little tiny one. So lighting does matter for this plant. The last topic that we're going to cover is temperature, and this plant can handle temperatures as low as 50 degrees Fahrenheit up to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. The optimal range temperature for this is 70 to 90, although I've never tried to put it out in 90-degree weather, but when I get to my new house, I'm gonna try it, and we're gonna see what happens, obviously under cover, and see how it does in 90-degree weather. So yeah, the optimal temperature for this plant is 70 to 90 degrees. I would probably stay in the 70, 80 degree with, you know, enough shade, bright indirect light, and, you know, make sure that you're not letting it dry out, and I think it'll be fine. So there you have it. That's all the information you need to know to help you grow your Manjula Pothos. If this is your wish list plant, what are you waiting for? Go get it. you're gonna love it. I'm telling you, you're gonna love it. And it's very easy to grow. You can treat, like I said, you can kind of treat it like a Photonia, where you wait till it kind of wilts to water it, put it in very well, you know, well draining soil. And the one demand that it has, which is don't keep it in direct light, just don't do it. And this plant will just keep thriving for you. If you just meet the bare minimum needs for it, it'll thrive, and you're gonna have a beautiful plant for years and years and years. And oh, if you want to propagate this plant, it's super easy. You know, you just cut it along the node, put it in water, and it should do the trick. Well, I hope you learned something, and if you have any other tips and tricks for this plant, please do share it below in the comment section for all of us to enjoy and learn. I thank you for watching this video. If you are not part of the Clay Soil family, I would love for you to join and consider subscribing to my channel. If you click the bell icon, you'll be notified every time that I upload new content, and follow me at Instagram at Clay Soil Purny, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.